powerful on turn 3 deck.
Yeah, basically kind of almost a rematch of the matchup that you played. A little bit different, but pretty similar. Yeah.
It's a little different. As Jarvis has, we'll get the graphics sorted for you in a second, but Jarvis is playing like an Izzet prowess, so he's playing stuff like expressive iteration, preordains, whereas I'm more hard gruel, leaning on like Underworld Breach and some Abundant Graves. So it looks like Saffron Olive has managed to draw the Thalia once again, although on a 1-land hand here.
Yeah, does have a Solitude, which is really nice in the matchup. Can also play that Amarius Call for land 2, or if he does happen to draw a bunch of lands, consider pitching it as a white card for the Solitude. It looks like a really nice hand overall.
Yeah, this as you saw in the first set of matches, Thalia was just a beating for me because you're playing so many few lands in prowess that just getting taxed that 1 mana is just enough just to put you off balance. It's kind of hard to play around, and you kind of have to use all your resources just to remove this Thalia, and then hopefully another one doesn't come down.
Yeah, especially like when you were stuck on 1 land. There's really nothing you can do. You can't play a removal spell. You can't really do anything. So yeah, I agree with you. The Thalia looks very powerful in this particular matchup.
Yep, and especially Saffron has 2 copies as well. So once Jarvis deals with the first one, it's just, it's beating the second one can be quite a tall order here. But it looks like Jarvis is just trying to get aggressive here, just trying to turn on Delirium while also lava dying Saffron Olive's face, because that's what you should do in prowess.
Yeah, one damage to the face, nothing better than that.
Yep, send a message.
Yeah. I do like this play because, well, 1, maybe he gets a Delirium, but also 2, like if Saffron does have Thalia, which we know that he does, Jarvis can't cast Lava Dart off of 1 land anyway, so he's gonna need to find something anyway. So
yeah, so it looks like Saffron has cashed in this Solitude just to deal with that Dragon Rage Channeler there. And it looks like it's going to give Saffron a really good opportunity just to cast one of these Thalias. And it's very similar to happened in my first game with Saffron. You just kind of stuck on 1 land, or not stuck on 1 land anymore, but it makes it really hard to cast, this expressive iteration or Underworld Breach, right? Just because you're just playing a 2/2 at this point.
Right. It kind of almost completely invalidates Underworld Breach in a lot of respects. Just by, limiting the damage that it can do.
Yep. And as much as Saffron Olive made this deck to be, I'm going to Collector's Cage, surprise, here's an Emrakul, it's just a really good Humans Beatdown deck as well, because it just has enough disruption, enough aggression just to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jarvis theoretically could sacrifice a land here to Lava Dart the Thalia.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that either. It is a choice you can make.
It's like I'm looking at this expressive iteration, just going, I really want to cast you, but going down a land doesn't help. But being on 2 lands also doesn't help because you have this Thalia. So you're kind of in the same situation here.
One thing is that the Questing Druid is kind of doing a nice job as serving up as like a big body. Although that Thalia's Lieutenant's going to change that.
Yeah. Who knew Thalia Lieutenant is still a good card in 2024?
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy about that. I love that card.
Oh yeah, I played a lot of like humans in like the standard of its time during like Shadows standard. It was a good time because you had Fravor Inspector, which is the best card in Magic.
Definitely better, yeah. Jarvis asked me Novice Inspector or Thraben Inspector, and I said Thraben Inspector. So
see, this is why I like you, Brian. You know the right cards.
That's right.
Unlike Saffron, who's put Novice Inspector in his deck instead.
Yeah, I thought that was a huge deck building mistake.
I know, right? So it looks like Jarvis is gonna deal with this Thalia thanks to the Lava Dart, because he really wants to cast his Expressive Iteration, which is, I think it's been further enough in the game that you just can't sandbag anymore. You need to start doing things.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's
it's gonna be unfortunate when the second Thalia and potentially third Thalia comes down there.
yeah, that is nice here that Jarvis actually can get a pretty decent attack here.
Mm.
But yeah, that second Thalia coming down and the Thalia's Lieutenant to put it out of Lava Dart range is going to be pretty powerful. It is. I don't know. This is going to be a really interesting race here.
Yeah.
In terms of life totals, I think that Saffron Olive is a little bit favored, but I feel like a lot could happen.
Oh, it looks
Okay.
like I like the aggression. I can respect this.
Yeah, I like this too.
It makes this Thalia's Lieutenant even worse as well if you're just forcing Saffron to block and, just chip away at like the threats before they become, out of Lava Dart range.
Right. I think that was a really good play. That's probably that might be enough to even swing things into Jarvis's favor here.
Yep, and who needs lands when you have Lava Darts?
Not me. Okay. Interesting.
Can't cast spells if you don't have lands. Thalia's no good. Tap head.
I think here probably looking at playing the Thalia and the Sentinel.
Yep.
And I don't think you can afford to deal 3 damage to yourself with the Miria's Call. It's just way too dangerous.
Yeah, it's way too risky right now. This Questing Druid's a 5/5, and this Dragon Race Chandler does have to attack now, so it's just a flying 3/3 that Saffron can't really deal with right now.
Right. And if Jarvis does draw another land, so like right now it's a 3-turn clock where Saffron's going to have to chump every turn or eventually like build up a big enough board to trade with that. I think it's 5/5 right now. But
Yes.
if Jarvis draws a land with that third Lava Dart in the yard, that would increase the clock.
Yeah.
Because and could even cast it through the Thalia too, which is important.
It is very important, yeah. Fortunately, drew a Swiss Spear, which we can't really play, but Jarvis has enough aggression on board here, and as you rightly said, Brian, this Dragon Race Chandler is a clock unless Saffron can draw like a Solitude or something to deal with it.
Right. Interesting choice to block with the Thalia there. I mean, I don't mind it because there's a third one in hand, but it wasn't something that I initially would have considered doing.
No.
But here, yeah,
Thalia into Lieutenant.
I think that this. Let's see, how much damage is this going to be? I think this is going to be lethal if Jarvis doesn't draw the land.
Yeah. See what Jarvis draws here. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is. I don't know, a day late and a damage short. I don't know, some expression.
But I respect Jarvis's like aggression there. You kind of have to play to your out, so just like binning your lands and just using these Lava Darts, it does make sense. It's just out of the cards that Jarvis drew, he just didn't see a land in one of them.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of. I thought it was a great play from Jarvis, and it came up 1 damage short. But I thought that gave him the best chance to win. And
Agreed.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought it was a well-managed game, both sides, honestly. I just really close game.
Agreed.
Not a lot of margin either way.
And Saffron Olive just continues to play mono white humans, apparently, with Solitudes.
Yeah,
so sideboarding here. So Sanctify on Vec just looks really, really good against the Paralyze deck. It's a really hard way for Jarvis to beat.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what you bring in here. Spell Piercers might seem fine, but that doesn't seem great. Yes, because got too many creatures.
Yeah.
Buffering doesn't do anything. Pick your poison's a bit too cute because you're not really wanting to deal with the collector cages.
Yeah, there's not a lot really on to be completely honest. Like this is kind of a situation where it's almost like don't board.
Yeah.
Uh, I would be interested in that Flame of Anor
Yeah,
or
me too.
it like it could be a double answer to the Collector's Cage plus something else, but
Yeah. I also like just not siding anything in.
right.
Bone Crusher Giant is also fine. It deal 2 damage is notable against like a human's aggro deck.
Yeah, Bone Pressure seems great. I love that, and there is something to be said about the downsides of bringing in a 3 mana spell against a Thalia deck as
Yeah, for
well.
sure.
So,
For sure.
in
But
I don't
Looks
know.
like Java's kept a pretty good hand here.
Yeah,
We've got plenty of spells, plenty of interaction. We've got the Slickshot Show-off that we'll hopefully see during this game. Um, but also Saffron once again has a decent hand. Doesn't have the Thalia, but it's just got enough mixture of spells and lands that you kind of want with a creature aggro deck.
yeah. It's just a great like all around hand. Just
Yeah.
very well balanced. It's not you know anything super crazy, but
You also have the Sanctifier on Vec, which is going to stonewall a lot of the damage that Jarvis is going to try and push through.
Jarvis didn't land. That was probably about the best that you could ask for.
Hmm. And he does have the Lava Dart, so he can bin some of those lands away later.
Possibly all of them if he's getting yeah.
If it's a repeat of game 1.
Exactly, yeah.
See what Saffron wants to do here. Do
Yeah, I think
you part the show off?
I'd probably just play yeah.
I like plotting it. I can respect the plot.
You haven't lost the plot.
Not yet. I might do after this, depending how my next game goes, maybe, but
That's fair, yeah. Yeah,
let's
interesting spot. Like, yeah, Saffron could have either held up the March by the Worldly Light or played the Sanctifier. Uh,
I like playing the Sanctifier personally, but I can see hesitation here. Like play Collector's Cage as well. Kind of just like
yeah.
playing the Sanctifier and just keeping my life total at a, you know, good amount.
Yeah. It's definitely I mean, I have the luxury of we have the luxury of seeing Jarvis's hand that this
For
might
sure.
just be game. I don't maybe it's not quite because the Sanctifier does shut off the lava darts,
Mm.
but
This bird can also just turn those lava darts into 2 damage, so and it just flies over this Sanctifier.
yeah.
One thing I've learned from playing Slickshot is just that you can just win games out of nowhere. It's just so explosive, but for very little cost as well.
Yeah, it's just a very powerful card. It's like the best of both worlds of a variety of these kinds of cards that have been printed before.
For sure, for sure.
Especially even like the plot is just a great I like almost like a protection spell for it in some regards.
Yeah, it's like one cool thing about plotting it, it gets around stuff like prismatic ending and these like cheap removal spells, like these sorcery speed removal spells. And just having to one side and go, yep, I can play this later. And it also has haste, so you can just like unplot it, turn sideways, and just play all these spells. I think it's just a really clean designed card, and it's probably one of my favorites to come from Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
Yeah. It is a very, very well designed card.
Yeah. Here comes the lava dart. Not gonna do a whole lot.
Yeah, Jarvis found the creature that would have given him delirium
Yeah,
in better circumstances.
yeah.
Yes. Now I think the march has to be held up, but you could I think Saffron could look to play some other card as well. I mean, possibly the champion of the parish plus hold it up, or even the
Yeah.
Cajun hold it up. Not sure exactly what the right consideration is, but
I think he's going to play the cage here.
yeah, it does seem that way.
It's a really interesting card. It's one that I kind of glossed over when looking at previews just because the set is just so big. It seems a really interesting one, and the fact that you can just like cheese in an Emrakul just sounds hilarious to me.
Yeah. And it is, I think it looks quite powerful. Like,
Yeah.
Hideaway is no joke.
And plus, you can just put a count on a creature at instant speed. That just seems pretty good.
Yeah. Surprisingly relevant in a matchup against Lava Darts and Lightning Bolts.
Yeah, very relevant. See what Saffron wants to do here. Do you want to attack?
Getting in with the novices.
Wannabe,
Yeah,
the
the
wannabe
wannabe.
Open Inspector.
Yeah. And gonna go ahead and fire off the March now, which I think you could wait and try to extract more value from the card, forcing Jarvis to try to make a play that wouldn't work. But on the other hand, if Jarvis did board in something like the Spell Pierce, you just lose the game
Yeah,
basically. So
yeah. You wanna land it to Adeline at some point as well, which is just gonna take over the game if it's just not it's just left unresolved.
yeah.
So it looks like Jarvis is gonna kick things off with a lightning bolt, putting Seth down to 8, which is. And there's the other slick shot. That's a pretty good draw.
That was a nice setup there. Interesting spot here because Jarvis could just play Bolt and Lava Dart. And if he does happen to hit the I guess that would still be 1 damage short. I'm gonna say if he does happen to hit a card that provides Delirium, which there aren't that many of them, but
Yeah,
they do exist, then it would be close to game over. But it does have to also be wary of the Collector's Cage.
yeah. That collector's cage is just gonna put something into play out of nowhere.
Interesting. Ends up going for the.
It's also going to be really hard to hit Delirium, considering Sanctifier and Vec just does XR red cards. I don't think there's anything in blue or colorless that can get around it. Maybe it's just going to be hard to hit Delirium, I think, just with the Sanctifier and Vec in play.
Yeah, I think it takes like the Questing Druid or some card along those lines to do it. This is interesting. Depending on what Saffron had under his cage, there was a possibility of flashing in the Solitude, activating the cage before or evoking it in, activating the cage before it sacrifices to have 3 different powers. And if there's an Emrakul or something under there, basically that would have been game. But opts not to do it. Still does have the Solitude available, which is powerful. But Jarvis might. I don't know. This will be interesting.
Yeah, Jarvis, it's pretty close. This Sanctifier and Vec kind of changes things a little.
Yeah, quite a lot. Sanctifier and Vec was quite good this game.
Yeah, hell of a tansy play.
So yeah, Jarvis finds Delirium, it's over, but easier said than done.
Yeah. Specifically need Questing Druid. Not a bad top deck.
Not bad.
Still live. We're still live.
Another slick shot, so that would be lethal next turn. So Jarvis needs to survive a turn, which I believe he should be able to do. But it depends on what's inside that cage.
Yeah.
What's
in the box?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm allowed to say what my actual answer to that would be, but
So Saffron's going in for the alpha attack here.
Yeah, has access to cast whatever's underneath the cage. We'll see if it's a game-winning play or not.
Yeah.
Solitude or Emrakul does the trick.
Yeah.
There's probably some other cards that can do the trick too. Oh, Miria's Call. Yeah,
That's also a trick.
Yeah, that will do it.
Oh, that's disgusting. I didn't even think about Amiria's Call.
And that is
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything that. Man, that Sanctifier in back really powered that entire match. That was powerful.
Yeah, just casting that what, turn 3 or turn 4, and it's just it cleaned the graveyard. It stopped Jarvis getting delirium when he needed it. It just passively gained life, negating those lava darts and making those lightning bolts slightly worse.